Hello and welcome to Scalemodeling, and welcome to part 14 of our Revell London bus build. Okay, so if you've been following along, that's great. If not, please subscribe, hit the notifications bell so you get notified as the videos come out and you won't miss anything. Your comments are welcome, and give us a thumbs up if you like it at the end. It helps with the algorithm. All right, so where are we at? In the last video, I was about to get the roof prepared to paint, and here it is in here. It's a bit strange that they've left it right up to step 84 to suddenly have us bring the roof out to do, when it could have really been done way back when we were doing the rest of the panels around on the bus. But anyway, there it is. So I did show in the last video where I've undercoated it and then I've done the underside of it in the white. Also put in all the light globes, all the clear plastic in there, so they're done. And I was about to go and paint it in the Outlaw Paints London Bus Red, which I've done. I'll bring that over. There it is there. Looking nice. Hasn't been clear coated yet. I've only painted that today, so I want this to set properly, and then I'll clear coat it tomorrow. I'll put the clear coat on, but that's done. Oh, and there's the underside. Sorry, the contrast is really high, but it's not that white, but yeah. All right, so that's that done. Now what I also did was I'm going back through the instructions. Well, actually, in one of the next steps here, step 86, there's these parts here which we've already done, which are the struts that go on the roof, because they hold, they're like supports. And then but also on there, I noticed this little thing here with a question mark that sits on the top. Don't know what that is, but there it is there. That needs to be painted up also in the London red, so I'll need to do that. And these here are mud flaps for the wheels, which go way back to what step was that? Where are we? Let's see. I think it was when we were building the base of the actual chassis. Oh no. There it is there. So way back in 13, I haven't marked it off because of that. The reason I didn't do them was because I didn't put the wheels on. I left them with the wheels off, and I didn't want these to get knocked while we were doing work on here. But there they are. They need to be done, and they need to be painted in metallic grey. Well, no, dark iron. Okay, so we'll do those in dark iron. So again, I'll get them trimmed up, ready to paint, prime, and do them in the dark iron, and then pretty much put those straight on. And I think that is it. Everything else I've been through, I don't think I've missed anything. So we're pretty good to go. Yeah. All right, so I'll go ahead, get these fixed up, and then when we come back, I may probably also have that clear coated. Okay, I'll be back shortly. Hello, welcome back. So there's our roof done. Got our clear coat on there. I did that about 3 hours ago, and it's come up nice. So that's done. There's the underside of it, all in white with our lights. You just see them along there. So yeah, happy with that. I'll put that aside. And also we've got these rails done that go under the bus. These were done in the iron black, was it? Just check, metal black. All right, so there they are, done in metal black. Come up really nice. So I'll put those on the bus. And another one of those things why this was left till step 88 to do, when now I've got to get the bus and get underneath it, fit that. So as you'll see here, yeah, shouldn't be too much a problem, but yeah, it just seems like it. Why couldn't it have been done while all that was being put together? Anyway, we did what it did it in the order it's required. Also, the mud flaps are done. There they are there. And they were done in the dark iron. So we've got front and rear to go under the wheels. And there's that little bit there that goes on the roof too. Not sure what that part was, but there it is. That's done in the red as well. There it is here, actually. Show it to you there. That's that bit there. Okay. Now, the more I look at this, the more I see there's a railing there that I've completely not even touched yet. So see about getting that on, but I think that's after this is all fitted on the back, so I may not be able to yet, but at least I could get that ready. The colours for that look like we got titanium silver and what's that? Not too sure what colour that one, XF75. Yeah, we'll check. I think that was the grey I did on them. Anyway, we'll find out. And of course, this light I still keep missing. That needs to be done as well. Yeah. All right, but in the meantime, I'll put these on and then I'll get those bits prepared. And I suppose there's this one as well, this handle. I have to go and check that piece and see if it's on. I have a feeling I've done that. We'll find out. And then it goes on to the decals. But of course, we've got to put those parts on the bus. So, okay, I'll be back and we'll have a look at these, what these are like when they're on. Back in a sec. Okay, so there's one on. Just glued that on. There we go. I still don't see any reason why it couldn't have been done earlier. It wouldn't have gotten in the way of anything, but it's all good. So that side's on. While I've got it up this way, I'll put the mud flaps on front and rear guards there, and this one I'll put on the other way. It's just going to go down in here. Let's see if do a quick test fit. That's going to sit like this. Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be fine. I'll be able to put that on there as well. Okay, excellent. I'll be back again in a sec. Okay, so the mud flaps are on there and there. Same on the other side. Just glued them. I'll leave them for a bit. The fitting's really a bit dodgy. There's no real locating points for them. In fact, these ones, because of the shape of them, really don't really fit anywhere near what they should. But anyway, they go in place, and as long as I've got them straight on both sides, they'll be fine. And these ones, yeah, they just go where you think they'll be. Just keep them level with the tires and should be fine. So that's it. The other rails down there on the bottom there, and it's all good. So I'll leave this for a bit, and we can cross those parts off the instructions. That finishes step 13 that we had. Let me just move this out of the way. We'll be back in a sec. Right, so step 13 finished. So let's go and do a quick run through from the beginning. Make sure everything is crossed off to every step. All good. 15, no, that was the Scania engine, which we didn't build, so that's fine. Okay, we've got something that's not, why haven't I marked off number 18? Pretty sure that's fine. Yes, yes, we've done that. There's nothing missed there. Okay, cross off 18. 19, well, we put the wheels on much later. So that's done. Going on, this is all done. We got right through step 33 to 35 is good. 36, that is now on. We put that on, that's done. Moving on, all these parts were put on. Good. Our seats were done. That was all the bottom parts of the seats done. Going up to step 50, 51, 52 is all done. Down to 54. Good. Going on up to 57, finished. That's all done. We've started on the top floor. There's all those seats done. That's done. It's all marked off, so that's good. We go across. All the glass put in the front sections. All those windows were done. All the holes were drilled. Yes, yes. 73. Okay, so that's where we're at with putting the front and rear on. Okay, now these parts here are done. So the two sides are on and glued. We haven't put the bonnet on yet, so I guess there's no reason why I can't put the bonnet on. And this top section here, I think we should go put the bonnet on. The hood, depending where you are, we call it a bonnet, or we call it either way here. Yeah. So let me go get that, and we'll put that on, and we'll be able to cross that off. Okay. Yeah. This part, I think this is. Oh no, we've got those. That means fitting them on, so we haven't done that yet either. All right, let's get this hood on, bonnet on. Back in a sec. Okay, the bonnet is on. You just tilt this up so you can see it. There it is under there, and it can be raised. Display the engine. There you go. All right, it just goes in the notches in the back there. Actually, the whole thing slides up and down there. There's a lot of leeway, so that's really good. I guess that's so it can open. But there we go. So happy with that. All right. Okay. Now let's bring out the instructions again. And well, here we go. Let me just move this over again to there. And we can cross off number 74. I'm getting closer to having to put those panels on the front and rear, aren't I? Can't avoid it for much longer. Let's keep going. Now, I know that that's what that step is, as well as 75. Just checking everything else. That was all the glass in the windows. Done. Completely move that right out of the way. Okay. So that's all been checked off. That's all done. All right, so that's where the advertising frames need to go on. I still haven't checked on that yet and checked how the decals are going to fit. So, yeah, that can't be done until those panels are put on. All right. Now down here we've got, and here we've got both left and right hand side of the bus for the rear view mirrors. Fuel cap goes in, so there's a few bits and pieces there. Yeah, that really should be left to the very last. The fuel cap could probably go on. There's no reason why we can't put that there. Yeah, and yeah. Now there's a little handle on that back window there. Let me just go check that. I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so that is here on the K sprue right there, number 186, right next to the windscreen wiper, which I think we have in photo etch. Might be able to do that in photo etch, but that handle needs to come off and be painted the London red. So I can do that. That'll mark that one off. Also, those are off a different sprue. We'll check that. But yeah, I'll check that and the windscreen wiper. Then there's this one here. I think I'm just trying to see where that piece goes. See? Is that it there? Yeah, there's just no location point for it. Pretty sure that's it. Yeah, so it goes there somewhere. You would think. that, see, there it is there, going down on top. And it just simply goes, just take that off. Yeah, so it will go like that. Okay. Again, no location point for it, but anyway, not a problem. So I'll be able to stick that on. All right. Yeah. Okay. I'm still managing to find little bits and pieces to go. So let me do that. I'll be back in a sec. Okay, back. I've decided to go with the photo etch windscreen wiper. Now it looks a lot better than the piece of plastic that comes with the kit. So we've got 4 pieces here. First is the wiper blade itself, which is simple. You just fold that in half to get that. There's this piece here, which goes on the bus that wiper blade sort of connects into. So you can see it here. All right. Here is the piece like the support, which is this part. And it folds in 2 places here. So both sides go up. What I use is my photo etch bender. I just put it in there, bend it up using a razor blade. So you know you're going to get it nice and straight. Then what I've done is I put that on a piece of blue tack so that this piece, which is our brass piece, this is BR04, it stands out from the rest. You can't miss it. And it will go, there's one particular way it goes up where it goes through the hole in the end. And that's where I'll glue it using the the blue tack sort of to hold it while it goes in there. Okay, so when that's in, this part here needs to bend up a fraction and that bit bends down a bit. That gives you that distance out from the window for the wiper blade to sit. That you won't know until you're fitting it on there. So I'm not going to bend that now because if you're going to be bending that and adjusting it too much, it'll break. You really don't want to bend that more than you have to. So what I will do is I will attach this, which will go, there's a tiny little hole. You can see better on there, but there's a little hole in, here it is here. See, it's going onto there. Okay, so in here, this, it will go, sit in there like that. That's pretty much it going on there. It's not hard, but it's a little bit fiddly, all right? So again, using very tiny amounts of CA glue. I use my little applicator here, which is my little homemade one with a little bit of wire. That'll put just enough on there that I need and get that attached. It has to be painted black. It has to be painted metal black. I'll do that when the whole thing's complete. Okay. All right. So I thought I'd just show you how that's going to go on and go together. It's quite simple. Here it is here sitting on the window there. Really, I should have got this put together and well, I couldn't put it on before I was painting this. Otherwise, how would I get this black? So I'm just going to have to remember to where that is on the panel. There's a hole through there, which is where that pin will go through. So it shouldn't be a problem to fit this. Okay. All right, I'll keep going and we'll probably come back when I've got this put together. Okay, back shortly. Oh, and one more thing. This piece that we're looking at to go on the roof had a big question mark on there, so it's optional. My concern is that that surface is going to go down onto the painted surface of the roof. It may not stick, so I'm going to hold off on that for now, and right at the end I'll decide whether to put it on or not. It's just that yeah, it's going to have a problem sticking. All right. Okay. I mean, I could scrape some paint off, but I've already clear coated everything. I don't really want to do that. We'll see how that goes. All right, back shortly, guys. Hey, welcome back again. So, as you can see, the wiper blade's there. I haven't glued it on yet, but it's just test fitting it, and it's perfect. Look at that. All right. So I'm going to put this aside somewhere very safe because I've test fitted this front going on the bus, and there's a few little modifications to make, but I don't want to knock that off while am actually fitting this on the bus. So this will just pop out like that. Okay, there's the little black part that's glued on there, and I'll go put that somewhere safe, which means for the moment there. Okay. Now the bus, fitting this on, I had some fit issues that I think I can solve. So if we look at this, obviously from a top-down view at the front, this part of the roof in above here was a terrible fit. It always was going to be a bad fit. And the piece that sits over the top of here, which is this one, actually covers all of that. Okay, so you don't see any of this part here. But my problem, as you can see, is this sticks out too far. Okay, so I need to get that cut back or sanded back a good 2 or 3 millimeters. In fact, it doesn't matter how far I cut that back, the further the better, because this, which would be this part here, needs to sit flush with that, and it won't with that part sticking out too far. All right. Once it does, I've looked the line here. This line here seems okay on the side panel of the bus on both sides. Okay, and it also fits well on top of this. Okay, so you imagine that's going to be like that, and it'll fit well, I think. Now there is a bit of a gap from the door here into the side of the bus, so just where that is supposed to fit, I'll just tilt this on the side. All right, down in there, it's not going to fit up perfect on there. There's nothing I can do about that. Okay, it's to do with how far this is sticking out. It's out too far. That whole cab is leaning forward a fraction, and that's causing the gap. So what I'll do is I'll touch up the red paint down there. It won't be too noticeable because after all, this is a door that slides open and closed. So it'll look fine. And it also won't affect the banner because the banner's not touching that lower section. So everything else should go on all right. Okay. Now the bonnet, with this on, the bonnet opens no problem, but it doesn't sit down flush properly. I've got to check. There may be something that it's touching somewhere to stop it sitting down, but I'm going to display it open anyway, as I mentioned before, so that's not going to be a problem. So yeah, I'm feeling it better. So right now, what I'll do is I'm going to cut, or I'll sand this down, and then retest fit all these parts on, and then do some magic clamping as I try to glue them on. That's excuse me. That's going to be a tricky part. Is yeah, getting these to stay on with some clamps. Anyway, we'll see what I do. We will. All right, I'll be back shortly with an update. Okay, welcome back. So I've glued the front end on. All right, but I'm going to show you. I'll put the photo up in the corner there. So that's showing on the opposite side of here, where that door edge. Okay, so that there is not lining up where it's supposed to fit on the opposite side of here. Now I got it pretty close. It's just you can see the gap where the actual driver's compartment door closes, so it's okay. I've glued that all on. It's okay. I've used a bit of the Outlaw Paints and just touched up some spots where I knocked off some paint, but otherwise that side's pretty good. Now I've also put in some glue across the top here, so that's all solid. I used some CA activator so it would stick instantly. Now on the other side, with the other picture you'll see, is pretty much looking at this part here where the guard is and where it sits in there. there was a gap as well. There's still a bit of a gap, but it's a lot better than it was, and that's the best I can get. So I've glued all that. I use CA glue all on the inside. It's very difficult to hold the stuff together. It's the length of the bus. I just couldn't clamp it. So I used my activator, which is that one there, CA activator, and it's on. And the bonnet looks okay. It closes. I'll show you a photo there. It opens. So it looks all right, as you can see in that picture. All right. So I'm going to leave this to settle and dry a bit before I attempt doing the top, which is this. And yeah, once that's on, then we can go down to the rear end of the bus and play around down there and see what happens. Okay, which I haven't even attempted yet, so we'll see how we go. But again, it's on. It's as best that I can get, and I filled some of the gaps using CA and then touched up with some of the paint. So it's, from arm's length, it's hardly noticeable. So that's good enough for me. All right, I will continue on and we'll be back with another update. Okay, hello, welcome back. So I got a bit of, well, I got some very bad news. The bad news is that I can't get this top section on. Okay, it's just not going to happen. Yeah, it's sad, but it's just what's happened is that when I put the driver's compartment on, there was a lack of locating points, and I thought it was sitting down in there tight where it should be. But as it turns out, and I'll show you, may not be able to see, but in there, you'll see just, there's a gap in there, okay? See that gap? This should be flush against that. And because of that gap, it means that this is pointing out to, is sticking out just that few millimeters too far. Okay, so be aware of that when you're doing this. Make sure that that inner structure of that cab, driver's cab, is right in the spots and sitting where it should be. I didn't. So because of that, this part here is too far forward. All right, and I've gone and I've put this on over it too far forward. All right, so which means that this is just not going to sit on there. It slides on, but there's going to be, it needs to go back further, and because it won't go back further, I got huge gaps on here, and I don't know how to fix it. I did, like I said before, I trimmed what I could off there because this roof was also not fitting properly, and that solved the problem of it fitting width across the width, but it's the distance it needs to go back to line up with the back panels on there that it's just not going to happen on both sides because it just won't go back against that. So basically, I'm not going to put this on at this point, right? I'm going to move on with the build and start working on the rear. Now, for those who don't know, I'm moving overseas, and all these models I've built, I'm giving them all away. And there's a good friend of mine, one of our subscribers here, who I'm going to give this bus to. And he has many, many years more experience than I have in building models. And maybe he could come up with a solution. So I'm going to leave that for him. And I will do an update video and we'll see what happens, okay? But until then, I'm just going to move on to the back of the bus now and start working on the rear here, okay? Now, some good news is I have already test fitted this part onto there, and it sits in place beautifully and it lines up there perfectly too. Look at that. So Yay, I've done something right. I've also test fitted this section, which sits on here. This is the inside of the panel that goes on top, and that seems to fit fine too. Okay, so we're looking good there as well. Okay, then over the outer shell of that is this, and again I've slid this on and I've test fitted it, and it's looking good too. Okay, so yeah. So what we'll do is I'm going to move on to the back now. I'll start putting these on one bit by bit, and we'll see how that fits. But in the meantime, very important, way back in the beginning, to make sure that fits. What I'm going to do is I'll go back to that video where I did the work on that area. Then I'll put down in the description, I'll make a note to write there so people who are watching the video can read and see how important it is that that front cab is put in as accurately as possible. All right, because as I knew, it affects your build later on. Okay, so there you go. I mean, it's no good you watching me through the whole build and seeing this happen now, when, you know, hopefully you put that in properly. I'm sure when I did make the video of that cab going in that I explained how it was difficult to get it to fit properly. It may have been a mistake I made after filming, that I've, you know, taken it out and then repositioned it wrongly and then glued it. But yeah, not good. But hopefully our friend that I'll give this bus to can come up with a solution, and yeah, we'll see. We might get some nice finish of the build. Yeah, but that will also mean that I can't put those frames on for the banner ads, and I can't put the decals on because they actually hang over onto that part of the bus there. Okay, they actually reach across there. So yeah, that won't be possible. Yeah, but anyway, let's continue on and get this rear section all completed, and that's all on step 75 here, and up here as well. That's the part where those lights are that fits perfectly. So I'm doing that bit here right now. Okay, I'm doing that bit now. All right, okay, back shortly with another update, hopefully with better news. Okay, welcome back. So I just wanted to, I was going to take photos, but then I thought, no, I'll just grab the camera and show you here. So I've just put this piece on the back. As you can see, it lines up there perfectly. Happy to say. Okay, I've just holding there with these little pegs, so I've glued it in place. There's attachment points behind the reflective lights on the back there, and that's got to sit on there. Also, for here, I needed to glue this piece in across here. It wasn't glued, and that clamp is holding those together, so I'm just waiting for those to dry as well. That affects the outer shell sitting on here. Now, one thing I wanted to point out about that panel here, during the instructions in step 67, it obviously tells you to paint it the red, which we've done there, that's fine. But what it didn't show clearly was that this down the side of it needs to be done red as well, because that's going to be visible. Okay, and obviously I haven't painted that because it didn't tell me to paint that. It just said paint that side and the inside. As you can see, I've done the paint as they said on the inside. But yeah, so that strip on there, that's going to be visible. So you need to paint that the red as well. I'm going to have to touch that up now. Now, as for this piece here, that will be covered, so you don't have to worry. Sorry about the focus. There we go. That will be covered by the outer piece that goes over the outside of there. Okay, so what we're looking at is on here. See, that comes down, but it doesn't go all the way. So, you know what I mean? That covers to the edge of the where the window frame is. Okay, got that. All right. So there you go. So I'm just going to let that dry off for a minute or half an hour, and then I'll be attaching this. That's going to go pretty much straight on the back there, and it glues onto here, around here, and on the other side just there as well. All right, not a problem. Okay, all right, I will continue. I'm back again in a sec. Okay, welcome back everybody. So I've glued that on and it's gone on fine. Everything went in as it should. As far as I can tell, everything as it's supposed to be, so that's good. But I come across a similar problem I've had before, which is related to the area down the bottom here, is this trying to get this to fit on. It's not going to, I mean, it may look okay on this side. You'll see quite a nice line there, but the other side, look at that. Now, I can move it in and get it close, but it's not going to line up straight. So unfortunately, it's more this needs trimming back. And I've come to the conclusion that I can't finish this. I can't get it to go on straight. I just don't have the experience. I'm hoping that who I give this to will be able to use their experience and be able to, you know, get this to fit, because it's at a point where I can't go any further without these lining up on the back as well as the front. I can't put the frame on for the banners and for those big what do you call them, the decals that go on the sides of the bus, because they overlap onto those parts and they have to be spot on. And even if there is a gap there and I don't put those frames on, the decal's not going to go on there because of the gap. So I can't put any decals on there, unfortunately. So what that means is this part here, step 75, is putting them on. We got that, we didn't get 71 on. Okay, going over the page is where we've done all of this. This has all been done. Move that up a bit more. Yeah. That's where the frame needs to go on for the banner, for the advertising on both sides of the bus, which we've not done, but we did have them painted up and ready to go. And after that, there was putting on the rear view mirrors. There's a couple of lights and all that going on there. The windscreen wiper blade, we put that on, so that's done. Same on the other side. There's a fuel cap to go on. There's a few bits and pieces to go there, and then it's across to where we've done the roof. Okay, so that came up quite nice. There's our inside of the roof with our lights in there, and the outside's all painted up and done, so that's all good. The little handle on the back window is done. There it is on there, little back window handle. So that's it. And then it's just a matter of putting the roof down on top, which doesn't get glued, it just sits on there. And the frames, there's these frame braces that go across there. They're all painted up and ready to go on as well. I've done the underside here, so these pieces under here are done. I can actually cross that off. I will do that later. And then we come across to these steps here, which is putting the decals on. So we're not doing this version 1, we're doing version 2, which means the big decals, which I can't do. There's some to go on the front of the bus here, although I think we already did that as part of the build. So most of those are done. Yeah, they are. That's done. So it's just the decals on the side. I'm going to leave that, and that's the finish of the build. Okay, so I'm not going to finish this build. Okay, so for those who are watching, what I'm doing is I'm giving this to someone else. It's going to a good friend of mine, one of the subscribers, and I'm hoping that he can get these to fit properly, finish off the bus with the decals, and photograph what he's doing, and then give me the photographs, and I'll put them in the final video for the series of the build. It's just that at this point now, I'm just a couple of weeks from moving overseas permanently, and I've got so much going on that I just can't focus, and I don't think I have the ability to fix this. I'm sure it can be, but the important thing is to build this up with the inner structure of the build as accurately as possible, so you don't have problems like I have. All right. So I'm going to finish up this part of this stream here, and hopefully, and I'm pretty sure the next stream will be the last video. The next video will be the last video where you'll see it completed. All right. So let's cross our fingers for that. All right, everyone. Thank you all, and don't forget to subscribe. Hit the like button. Your comments are welcome below. And yeah, I've enjoyed getting it to this point. I've learnt a hell of a lot, that's for sure. And I'm looking forward to seeing some photographs of this being finished. All right. Okay, guys. See you in the next video. Bye for now. Cheers.